It's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. I'm going to be making a thank you card today, and I'm going to be using these Rubbernecker layered stamps, and so it's going to be a layered stamping over vellum and a vellum overlay, and this is the part of the story that you're probably not going to believe. I used my vagabond to do my sentiment, which is thank you here at the bottom. Can you believe I used it? I know it's shocking to you. It's shocking to me as well. It wasn't hard at all. I didn't think it would be, but you know, I'm lazy. The whole point was getting it opened, and I'm just kind of lazy. Anyway, let's get to our story. So I cut these pieces. I cut two little pieces of paper. This is, I think it's 2 3/4 wide by 4 inches tall. I wanted it to fit this this particular bouquet. Number 919 is the number of the stamp. I wanted to fit it on there. And what you do when you layer these, in case you've never used Rubbernecker stamps, the key to Rubbernecker stamps is the photo or the picture. I'm going to just put that right there for now. And the reason that's the key is because this is how you line up your stamps. You keep this paper. Don't get rid of it, or you won't be able to layer your stamps anymore, because you have to have this. What you're going to do is you're going to lay that piece, the very first stamp, which is the one that's all filled in, like that. Can you see? It's not lines, it's all filled in. You want to lay it over your image and make sure you cover your entire image. And I think I pretty much have it covered at this point. So what I'm going to do, it works really well when you use your MISTI. And the reason is because at this point, you're going to close your MISTI on your image, reopen the MISTI, and take this piece out because you don't need it anymore. You only needed it to center that first piece. Now I know exactly where I had this cardstock, so I'm going to put it back in that spot and make sure that it's good and centered. And it is. And I'm going to be using a bunch of not water crayons. They're Faber Castell. Hold on, I got to remember the name of this group. I have 3 different groups, or maybe 4 different groups going on. These are Faber Castells, and they are gel crayons. And I'm going to be using, these are kids, Instant Educa? I don't know. Educa? It's part of education, but I don't know how they say it. Anyway, Play Color and Faber Castell Gelatos. I have some of those. And I'm going to try and replicate the colors on my piece of paper that is over here again. So I'm going to try and put it nearby so you can see it when I'm doing it. But those are the colors we're going to shoot for. So when you do this technique, what you need to do is you need to wet your image, and I'm never good at this part. This is the part where if anybody says, where does Sandy fail, this is it right here. I either don't wet it enough or wet it too much. It's just part of my problem is my wetting. I just don't do it right. So I know it's soaking wet, which probably isn't right, so I'm going to dab a little bit of that off. Okay. And then let's go with colors so that you can see them. And I'll keep my water nearby because I'm going to need it again. And I'm going to use these gel colors first because I really like them. They're fun. Loads of fun. And I'm going to use, let's see, we'll start up here on this one. I think what I'm going to do is the first time I stamp it, I'm going to stamp it on a scrap, and then the second time I'm going to stamp it on my good paper. That way we'll be sure that what we're getting the second time is something we really wanted. That should be right. Alright, let's give it a shot, see what we get. Should we spritz it again? No, I don't think so. You ready? Kind of wild. I'm going to put it down and do it again. Okay, and now I'm going to spray some water on it, and I'm going to put my good piece in there. Okay, ready? Okay. I know there's lots of pigment left, so we should be able to get something out of this, right? Okay. Woo! That big long bar magnet just drives me crazy. Now I'm going to take a water brush and wet this and play with it a little bit so that we get some of our color moved around. So what I did was I took a piece of acetate and I put a piece of pink cardstock behind it just so you could see that there are some pigments on here that you kind of can see and kind of can't see. So I wanted to make sure that you saw that I'm trying to mix colors and get a darker green if I can. And it's weird that the greens that they had in there weren't very dark, so I'm just trying to get some, combining some colors and getting a little bit darker green if I can. So we'll play everywhere that we have green on here. Okay, let's dry it up and see what we turn out with. Now for my next step, I'm going to use some of my Marco Renoir fine art color pencils. These come from, I think, China or Japan, and I really like them. They're not an expensive pencil, and I think I got mine through eBay, so if you're looking for them, that's where I suggest you go. They're less than $1 a pencil, and they're very creamy. I mean, I really think you'd like them. Just saying. Just think you would. Step is we're going to put it in our vellum. I can't decide if I should stamp it and then put it in the vellum and then stamp it again on the outside of the vellum. What do you recommend? Anybody? 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 Any ideas? Well, I'm just going to fake it then. Guys weren't very helpful on that one. I'm going to put down just a little bit of adhesive on the back to hold it in place because I'm going to go for the putting it in the card and then heat embossing black on the outside. How does that look? I got my vellum from Joann's and it's 60-pound vellum. So our next step is going to be we're going to take our our layer, and we're going to layer over this, and we're going to put it down so that it's exactly over the image. And you have to make sure you line this up, and I'm going to move it so that So we're going to put our MISTI up here. I've got it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to rub the whole front of this with our pouch. This says cornstarch in it, but you can buy your own version of it that's, you know, sold in the store. EK Success makes it. I don't want you to think you have to make your own at home, but I just used it so that I had a I used a cup, no, I folded over a knee-high. I can't do this and talk at the same time, so I'm going to stop. I folded over a knee-high with this in here and then knotted so that it's doubled over, and it works really good. Okay, I'm using Onyx Black VersaFine ink. It is a pigment ink, so it should, once we get it on here, ooh, that's cool looking. I'm going to stamp it twice so I really get a good impression. And what we're going to do is we're going to, as soon as we get this on the second time, then I'm going to use clear embossing powder and emboss the front. And that ought to make it really, really pop. I hope anyway. Okay. Take that off. Take that off. Ooh. This on. And then I'll just put it onto my pink paper here. I want to make sure I got that one piece. You have no idea how many thank you cards I've tried to make, and I've made so many mistakes on them, worse than normal, and just haven't been able to get to the end zone on them. So this is our last one, and I'm sure this is going to look good. Okay, it's looking good. I'm really happy so far. Now what we need to do is decide where do we want to put our thank you and what color do we want our thank you to be, because our thank you, as you know, is from my Vagabond, and it's right here. Okay, before I go any further, I wanted to tell you that the die set I'm using is from Avery L, and it's called Tag for All Die, and it looks like this, and it has a whole bunch of words in it. It's lovely. And I'm going to, I didn't have any black glossy paper, so what I decided I would do is I would use the Vagabond, which I did, and I'm going to, oops, the U is backwards. I'm going to put these in the embossing ink, put my plain embossing powder on, or my clear, and turn these into more of a shiny look. Put this on another piece of paper, and we'll roll with it. I'm going to heat it from the bottom. I bought this Tombow Vellum adhesive. I don't know for sure if it's going to work, but what I've done already is I put my wet glue on my flowers, and it really made the colors of them pop, and I thought that looked good. I'm happy with that. I don't, you know, I'm not unhappy with it. What I want to do is I want to finish gluing this down, and I'm going to play with the back first and see if you can see the adhesive through the paper, and if you can, then, you know, obviously it's not the way to go. I don't think you can, though. That's kind of cool. Alright, so I'm going to put a little row down there, and hopefully you can't see it. And then we'll do the top part. Oops. Forgot to do the edge. Now, I don't have a place right now. I closed my card completely. If you didn't figure that out, that's what I did. And I'm not happy with the top, but we'll worry about that later. Then I'm going to take a piece of the same exact size cardstock and I'm going to put it on the back, and then that way this piece is going to cover our vellum, and it's also going to make it so that we have something to write on, because of course you need that. It's a card after all. And hopefully this will stick to our vellum without any problem, since I used our vellum glue. Okay, there's that. Now I have offset my thank and you. I've glued them together, and I ended up using this Elmer's Craft Bond because the other glue didn't work that I tried. And I gotta decide if I can put this somewhere so that you can't see my mistakes. I could put the thank kind of on a curve and the U right there. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see if this works. Don't know. Hopefully it will. Put that right there. Oops. If I have to put glue under it later, I will. Do the same with the thank. I'm going to put a little of this wet glue on that instead because I'm a little bit scared. Put it on a little, ooh, come on buddy. Put it on a little bit of a curve. Let's see how that looks. I have a couple spots here where I need to wipe it with a little wet cloth, I think, because it's got just a little bit of sticky stuff on it, and I don't think it's something that's going to ruin our project, but on the other hand, you don't know. Okay, so there is our front, and here is our back, and I can just write whatever I want to back here. And let me do my envelope. I'm going to use this gold envelope, and I'm going to put blue. It's kind of blue. It's like blue silver. Then do the other side, and we'll be all set. I think this card came out pretty great, considering I was doing a lot of things I hadn't played with before, like trying to do that layering through vellum. I've never done that before. I've done layered stamps, but not through vellum. I really love those Rubbernecker stamps. I think they're awesome. They're really so deeply etched and just so beautiful. I just have to say. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give them a 10 in wonderful. I hope you enjoyed this and that you'll give it a try for yourself. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.